just thank all of y'all for coming here with us, showing solidarity. But it doesn't just stop here. You don't get to walk away from this and say, okay, I did a good deed. Now I can go home, I can live my life, I can be cozy at home, kick up my shoes, you know, take my shower, relax. No. We have to keep fighting. That's why we're here. You can't stop the revolution. None of us can stop it. But we can't refrain from being in it. And if we lose one voice, that one person can bring in 1,000 more people. So we'll lose 1,000 voices. So we can't stop. We have to keep going. We have to keep pushing. That's why we're here. The real revolution is here and here. And if we can get these two to work, this is what happens. We can create change. But we have to be willing to accept that we are the change, the catalyst for change. If we don't accept that, if we just leave here today and forget about what happened and say, okay, cool, I did that, I don't need to do anything else, then why were we here at first? This was, if all of us, if we do that, then we did all this for nothing. I got a lot more, but
what he's trying to say is that we can't stop right here. We can't just let this day just be amazing like it is right now and then just go back home to our day-to-day lives. You know, we have a friend, she's not here right now, but she always say, stay woke. Like, don't go back to sleep after this. Like, you have to keep that third eye open. You gotta keep doing it. If you stop right now, you're gonna do all of this in vain. And we have we have another generation coming into this. I personally do not want to raise my children in this place. And I don't think any of you do as well. So
too many people sacrifice their lives for this.
Exactly. We have too many people that have sacrificed their lives for this. And I think that what the issue is that we are looking for somebody to stand up. Like, we're looking for just that one person. We're looking for another Dr. King. We're looking for another Malcolm X. And we can't wait around for somebody like that to come up. If we do, we're going to end up dying waiting for that to happen. We have to stand up for this. We are our leaders. The fact that you came here today and stood here, you laid down on the ground for 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 11 minutes, it shows that you are a leader within yourself. And because of that, you should be proud for that. So just don't let this stop. Really don't. If you do, you could have done all of this in vain. And none of us want to do this in vain. We are doing this because we love to, because we need to. If we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for us.
Lord, my mind is going circling. I guess the biggest thing for me is I want y'all to understand, and I know I'm not alone in this, that as a black person in America, you don't understand your placement in this country until you take ownership of your own education and you decide to go learn the facts about your own history and who you are. And when you do decide to take that initiative and learn who you are as a person, and I mean as a black person in this country and your placement in this country, you will be angry. I have been angry for at least 3 years now because I came to VCU and I paid $30,000 to learn about who I am in my own history. I had to pay for that. And I'm angry. And I think I've realized why they work so hard to deprive us of knowing who we are as a people, because it's painful and it hurts and it's deeply rooted and you will be fucking angry. Yes, I'm angry as hell. And so I have been kind of standoffish with protests for a while because I'm trying to find a better way to channel my anger in a productive way, because I'm very angry learning about who I am and how I've been deprived of knowing who I am as a person before I came to VCU and had to pay for it. And so with that, I just want y'all to understand the importance of education. You come out here, you protest, we do call a response, we do chants, but y'all gotta understand the importance of self-education. You gotta understand the importance of reading. You have to understand the importance of what we're doing. It's not just a fad, it's not just something you do temporarily. This is something that sprang out of pain. This is something that sprang out of struggle. And understand that this type of protest, we are not the first to do it. Dr. King, like we have a national holiday for a man who marched way longer than what we just did. Honestly, and
day after day after day after day. walking miles and miles and miles every single day to get to a job where they weren't even appreciated.
Exactly.
To make $1 an hour. To take care of, raise other people's children. Not even able to raise their own children. This is why we are here today. It doesn't make any sense. So many people have sacrificed so long for us to still have to deal with this stuff.
We still fighting it, and that's what I was actually trying to get at. We got our grandparents, and I want y'all to realize when was the Civil Rights Act passed? 64? Voter rights 65? Brown versus Board 54? That stuff is not too far removed.
My mom desegregated her high school.
Do y'all understand
My mom desegregated my mother.
Her mother.
100 years past.
And they make you believe that it's so long ago.
It's fresh. It's fresh.
It's not long ago.
Momentum. We can't get so comfortable. Sometimes you get so comfortable, you're like, okay.
Don't. I'm definitely not afraid to say, do not let them believe. Don't let them tell you that we live in this, and I think that's why I'm so angry. This post-racial society, this equality, but the shit that I see on these TV screens are telling me a different story. The type of things that are happening against black people don't speak what they taught me in school. They don't teach me post-racial nothing. That's teaching me that my skin is something I have to be afraid of, because I don't know if I go outside if I'm still gonna be alive the next day. I really don't know. I don't. So when people ask me why I'm still out here marching up and down the street, why I'm still there, because I fear for my life. Yes, people who don't look like us, as in brown, black skin, they don't have to worry about that stuff. And that's why I'm so thankful for white allies that come out here and protest. Because y'all can go home and not have to worry about walking out your door the next day and wonder whether or not you're going to be alive. You can turn your eye the other way. You have that privilege. And so I thank y'all for being out here, because that tells me that y'all feel our pain. You empathize with us. And I thank you for that, because we need that. Like, for real, this movement that we're doing, I don't want it to go to the wayside, but I will say y'all have to. Your nephews, your cousins, your grandchildren, you need to educate them. Give them the opportunity to figure out what they want to learn. Don't allow this education system to teach them what they not going to teach them, because they not. You're not going to know who you are as a black person in this country unless you go find that information. You got to want to teach yourself. For real, you go to school and pay for it like I did.
And it's not comfortable.
That's an option too. And you know what? I can't even be mad at that. Because guess what? That's the way this country's set up.
Exactly.
So what do? I can't change it. I take matters into my own hands, and I teach myself. And then I act on it, and that's what I've been doing. So that's why I'm out here still protesting, for people who still want to ask that same damn question of why I'm out here. Because I went and put my head in some books. I educated myself, and I realized who I was as a black person in this country, and I'm realizing that post-racial equality stuff that they teaching me ain't real. It ain't. So that's why I'm still out here. So I'm glad all of y'all out here. So educate yourselves. White, black, brown, please educate yourselves.
I just want to thank you guys for coming out here. It's crazy because, you know, a lot of times when they quote Martin Luther King, they want to quote from his I Have a Dream speech, you know, the speech that was easiest to, how do I put it, whitewash, easiest to manipulate, and the safest speech that he probably gave. But they, you know, they pick and choose parts from that, and not knowing that the whole point of that I Have a Dream speech was for him. He was basically asking the Kennedy administration to act, to change things, to make things happen. But one of the quotes I've been thinking about is Martin Luther King. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Basically, when you're quiet, or you have your friends that are quiet, you're basically on the side of the oppressor.
Exactly.
You're basically taking the side of the oppressor by being quiet and not saying anything. And a James Baldwin quote. To be black and conscious in America is to be in a constant state of rage. And it's crazy because I wouldn't even say I'm as woke as Fidelity. Like, I'm just about to change my amazing African American studies. I'm just starting to read those books and read those speeches and watch those speeches and get into it. But just being conscious about the impact that me just having brown skin, me having melanin has on my life, on the life of my nephews, the life of my younger brother and my brothers, it's crazy and it angers me. I went to a Martin Luther King, and what I spoke on yesterday, I went to a Martin Luther King dinner at my school, and I was excited. I was like, it's a Martin Luther King dinner, the black people gonna get together, and it's just going, they just really going, but it was, they softened the whole Martin Luther King movement, turned into something, a day of service, and it made me so angry. Like, I wanted to cry at that dinner, and like, you have your friends that look at you and like you're crazy, but it's like, no, this is not what that man stood for. This is not, especially in the time, I can see in that time of injustices with so many deaths that's happened within the last year, with so many protests going on. How can you guys come in and talk about community service? I'm a person, community service in my life. Anybody knows that, but how can you guys pick, and out of everything this man lived for, out of everything this man did, from marches, protests, and everything, after everything this man did, how can you guys really focus on community service? Because that's the safest way to go. And I thank you guys, and education is a big part. And I'm not talking about just sitting in the class. I'm talking about reading books. You know, a book costs, you can go to Amazon, a book costs $5-6 nowadays. It doesn't. You have libraries, public libraries. Just educate yourself. Read essays. Take time. Don't listen to what. Take time to look into it yourself. We need you guys to do that, and we don't. We have to consistently be out here fighting, because no, it's not as racism, discrimination, and all of that, and the atrocities are not as outright as they used to be, but they still exist, so we can't let them appease us. Yes, the police officers gave us a conversation and said that we should have that conversation, but that doesn't mean we stop our fight. We can't. That's what they've been doing to us for years and years. They give us a little bit. Martin Luther King Day, they give us a little bit. They give us holidays, Black History Month, they give us a little bit. They give us, they give us a little bit at the time, and we take it and we run with it. We stop fighting. We fight for a couple of years, and then we stop because they give us something. But we have to consistently fight until a black life is equal as a white life, until we are all equal under the law, until Mexican, until we are all equal. We have to continue to fight. And it's sad, and I don't think Martin Luther King thought that we would be fighting this long, and I'm not sure how much longer we will be fighting, but we have to continue to fight. And we have to not be afraid to have these conversations. And white people can't be afraid, our white allies, our people of color can't be afraid to have these conversations. And I'm not saying have white guilt. I mean, I don't want, a lot of black people don't want to hear about the white guilt. Trust me, we don't. But it's like having these conversations, not being afraid to have the conversation, not being afraid to educate yourself. And it's progress that we really need. And I thank you guys for coming out here, the youth, the elders, all alike. Thank you guys for coming out here and protesting with us. And we have to continue, to have that conversations. Sit down amongst our peers, amongst everyone, have the conversations. And it is more than just protesting. Protesting is about building awareness, about getting out and letting the issues be known. But it does start in politics and laws and lawmakers and in the system, because oppression and racism is systemic. It's so been embedded in our system for so long. It's systemic. So that's what we have to fight for, change in the government. And we have to fight for change in the government and change in the law. So I want one thing I just want to leave you guys and saying, just educate yourselves. Just Google it. I mean, Google and smartphones and everything are just like
you gotta utilize your resources. They are there. They are as simple as your hand. Get it. You have libraries all around.